Good morning, everybody. Hope you got a big old cup of coffee because it's going to be needed today. Just a half-sized episode today. I am honestly feeling a little rough. Wife got laid off yesterday, so it was a rough night. As I'm sure many of you out there have probably had your own in recent times due to the world we live in. But hey, I might be a little tired, but I at least want to get through a few articles for you guys. So let's jump in and talk about Cardano for a second. In one of his infamous whiteboard videos, Charles Hoskinson, CEO of IOHK and inventor of Cardano, spoke on the subject of decentralization. As you can see from the article's title, he was talking about the fact that it's more secure and decentralized than Bitcoin. Okay, well, hey, let's get in here. He also references Jimmy Song and Tone Vays throughout this article. I'm not really going to touch on them too much, but the link to the article is in the description, so if you want to read the whole thing, go and check it out. I actually advise you do. It's kind of an interesting read. I enjoy his opinions. So, as Hoskinson described, the ability to mine Bitcoin is dependent on access to ASICs, since manufacturers have a significant influence on distribution. Hoskin also identified electricity costs as a problem, thus miners in countries where the cost of electricity is lower, so expensive countries, are particularly excluded from mining. So if you can get your hands on an ASIC and you live in a country with cheaper electricity, you've already got an advantage in Bitcoin system. In addition, companies with political influence can obtain cheaper electricity in a country, which allows politicians to exert a direct influence on the mining of the Bitcoin ecosystem. Ultimately, it is the result of an economy of scale in which larger players drive out smaller participants in the ecosystem. Alrighty, proof of stake, however, is very different. It requires a very different resource than ASICs. I mean, you pretty much just have to be able to run a small server. So no matter how much electricity costs in any country, ADA always has the same value within the ecosystem. Furthermore, the network will grow as the ADA price rises and thus become more decentralized. And then Hoskinson goes on to note the proof-of-stake system is safe as long as no single entity has more than 50% of all ADA. And even then, it would be in the interest of the entity that the system works because there is a financial incentive to it. And he's got a lovely little whiteboard thing down here. So yeah, this is definitely an interesting article. He's taken some pot shots at Bitcoin. And I actually do think his argument does have merit. It's one of the things we've seen over the past couple years. I believe like almost 50% of all the Bitcoin miners in existence that are active right now are in China. So right there, that shows up a red flag because China, we know China, they love many things and control is one of them. They could exert pretty significant control over the Bitcoin network. They probably would not collapse the network, but they technically could, and for any one entity to be able to do that kind of makes me uneasy, and it does kind of go against the idea of Bitcoin in its early days, which was it was going to be this great big decentralized, anyone could have it type payment systems that would eliminate the need for banks. So Charles is posting up a pretty strong argument here. He references a lot of different things. In the parts of the article I didn't talk about, he goes in and he pokes holes in Jimmy Song and Tone Vays' arguments, and by using the points I've described below. I didn't really feel like getting into an argument this morning or reading it. But yeah, I did want to talk about this. It's very interesting. Charles is, again, making some pretty good claims. Cardano is more secure and decentralized than Bitcoin, and I personally think Bitcoin is incredibly secure and incredibly decentralized overall. So he's attempting to talk the talk and walk the walk, so good for him. We'll see how this goes for him. All right, let's hop over and talk about Compound here for a second for article number 2. So apparently investors are dumping it as soon as it gets listed. So a report by Flipside Crypto states that investors are liquidating their Compound as holdings as soon as the opportunity presents itself, with major exchange listings as a catalyst. They've got this lovely GIF down here showing that it looks like basically as soon as Compound got listed on Coinbase, a huge, and I mean a huge chunk of it got listed over there. Almost 300,000 Compound got moved over to Coinbase. And they're saying this is what led to the price drops. The report states that as soon as Compound was getting listed on major exchanges like Binance or Coinbase, they were observing major flows from the investors to those exchanges. In addition, there's allegedly a large transfer made from the Compound team to DeFi. This correlates with the unannounced listing of Comp on Uniswap. Makes sense. So most of Compound's users, according to this article, are speculators. They do not engage in lending or borrowing, stating Comp users hold 23.8K of the active supply, while wallets that are not using the protocol hold a whopping 680.4K. So yeah, that's kind of a lot more. But nonetheless, Compound's had rapid growth in the past few months, as we are all well aware. It overtook Maker in total value locked of Ethereum, according to a recent consensus report. But this does make sense. You don't get something rise that quickly, that fast, without speculators who bought in early, cashing out, or heck, some people who use DeFi got turned off by the high gas fees or everything like that, but now have all this Compound that's worth triple what they got it for. Yeah, they're going to dump it as well. Maybe look to come back into DeFi in a little bit once it's gotten a bit more user-friendly. I don't know. It makes sense to me, but I do love this last little bit. So, Cointelegraph approached Compound Finance CEO Robert Leshner for comment. He said, and they quoted him, I love it, I won't go on record or debate false information. It gives credence to bad reporting and smears. However, I will, after your article is published, point out how flawed it is. Which, okay. Again, 24,000 users, or 24,000 Compound is held by users who actively use it, while 680,000 is held by those who don't. So, yeah, by that trend, most of us who hold Compound are probably speculators or hodlers waiting for it to hit 1,000, 5,000, 100,000 before we sell. I mean, you're going to have that with any cryptocurrency. So, I would agree that most Compound users are speculators, and old Robert Leshner is trying to pull the old fake news argument for literally a, 400-word article. Like, calm down, bruh. It's not that bad. Alright, it's not that bad. Alright, here, let's jump over, and we gotta talk about this Twitter fallout some more. Believe me, it's never gonna end. So, yeah. So, as we all know, a massive Twitter attack took place yesterday. It's finally moved beyond the screen and into the real world. The FBI and the United States Senate want some answers. So, the scam worked to some degree. Hackers profited around $120,000 in about 4 hours. Twitter said it believes the hack was a coordinated social engineering attack by people who successfully targeted one of our employees to access internal systems and tools. Hate to be that employee. The U.S. government is concerned about the data security of Twitter's users, most of whom are based in the U.S., as well as some national security concerns. I gave you guys my 2 cents yesterday. I personally think, well, yes, this hack was designed to get Bitcoin from people through a scam. Also, if you knew the scam was coming, you could easily have shorted the market and made a killing that way. So I wouldn't put it past that. Well, the hacker may eventually be caught due to the fact that it was using a wallet that at one point had sent money to Coinbase, so they might be able to trace ownership that way. But that even if the hacker is caught, the people who made millions off of shorting the market never will be. So that's my opinion. So Republican Senator Hawley, who has led investigations into Google and Facebook, told Dorsey in his letter that since millions of people use Twitter to tweet publicly and communicate privately, a successful attack on your system's servers represents a threat to all of your users' privacy and data security. Twitter, for their part, has said there is no evidence that any attackers access passwords, so no one needs to change theirs. However, it is taking significant steps to limit access to their internal systems while the investigation is ongoing. Doesn't say permanently, though, just while it's ongoing. We'll see. So, old Senator Robert Roger Wicker, chairman of the Senate Commerce Committee, said the hack unearthed larger concerns about social manipulation and disinformation online. What? So, given that many of the Twitter accounts affected had millions of followers, it's not difficult to imagine future attacks being used to spread disinformation or otherwise sow discord through high-profile accounts, particularly through those of world leaders. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So, yeah, and Wicker requests that Dorsey arrange for his staff to brief the committee staff on the issue as soon as possible, but no later than July the 23rd. He actually has said Dorsey can appear voluntarily or he can choose to decline. If he does appear, he can choose to answer any particular question or choose to decline to answer a particular question. Bit of a catch-22, though. If you don't show up, you look like a fool and idiot for not cooperating. If you do show up and they start poking you with really bad questions and you choose not to answer some of them, that also looks bad for you. So Dorsey's going to have an interesting time over the next couple weeks. This story is going to keep continuing to just bombard the news, which is fine. We could all use a distraction from the pending economic collapse, but hey. So turning our attention away from Twitter, we're going to jump over here for number 4 and talk about China. So they're unveiling their grandest blockchain plan to date, and boy, is it a doozy. So they're forging ahead with its blockchain ambitions. They unveiled plans for a blockchain-based government system for its administration Thursday. Not for the economy, not for, certain businesses, for the frickin' administration of the government itself. So Beijing will build a system for digital governance, create avenues for data sharing between agencies and businesses, and enable cross-regional collaboration. All of these will be carried out on a national blockchain platform. It's the first step towards making Beijing a global blockchain hub by 2022, as announced in an agenda next month. Dear Lord, they're pushing ahead. They know what's up. They see the future. Oh boy. They've identified 12 use cases, from blockchain applications at airports to customs to financial platforms for small businesses and to general and municipal government services for its citizens. Ports and customs will see data shared via central ledger, eliminated long wait times associated with current digital and paper-based alternatives. Solutions for enterprise banking and billing will provide identity authentication and reimbursement tracking, respectively. I mean, whoo! It's a 145-page long agenda. It's their biggest yet. It sees Beijing joining blockchain efforts in Chinese tech hubs like Shenzhen, Xi'an, and Hangzhou. The development comes a week after China's digital yuan enters test pilots with Didi, which is like their version of Uber. The application serves about 500 million users, and the People's Bank of China is one of the first commercial applications of blockchain in Beijing. Chinese president, everyone's favorite panda, Winnie the Pooh, Xi Jinping extolled the virtues of blockchain in a speech last year. Country's thrown its weight behind the technology, with Chinese firms dominating global blockchain and patent applications. There are now more than 45,000 registered blockchain companies in China, and the country's Ministry of Human Resources and Social Security has added blockchain jobs to its list of official occupations. Watch out, guys. Whatever China chooses to put its weight behind in blockchain is going to be huge. I mean, they carry over a billion citizens who they can kind of strong-arm actually using the technology. It's going to be very interesting, and they seem to be moving forward with all these different programs and things because it's proven that they will increase efficiency. They will eliminate unnecessary work, and by doing all those things, they'll continue to push their economy into a more and more profitable state by investing in emerging technology and investing in the future of their country. I really wish there was another country in this world that was actively working on this instead of taking pot shots at opposing political parties over a hacked social media account. But hey, I digress. So, getting into the last article, Ripple says it's exploring DeFi. All right. First blush, I'm like, okay, so you're going to just pay lip service to it because your price has been for the past little bit, and you want to, get back in the spotlight, but that doesn't seem to be the case, so I admit I was wrong. So Ripple Chief Technology Officer David Schwartz says that the San Fran startup is exploring whether it should offer decentralized financial services to its institutional partners. This CTO is one of the original architects of the XRP ledger. Says he hopes RippleNet can be a one-stop shop and the first choice for institutions hoping to make different types of payments. They're also looking to grow through other services through RippleNet, like loans, or if DeFi grows, offering DeFi services to institutional partners. One of the unique things Ripple has is they have software in the transaction flow of all these financial institutions and banks, so we can develop some new products or services, or even something that comes from the DeFi space, and we can offer it immediately right into the transaction flow of these institutions. That's actually pretty good if you can actually pull that off. If you're already built into their systems and you can unveil more and more and more different kinds of tools and services and lump in DeFi, that's actually pretty good for your long term. So his comments aren't the first indication of their interest in DeFi. Last year, the company announced it acquired Logos, a turnkey payment startup, to lead an ongoing initiative to explore a decentralized financial system that will leverage XRP at its core. And that's where I said, oh, so they're not just paying lip service to it. It actually looks like they're working on developing. So this right here could actually be Mr. Schwartz actually hinting that something is being actively worked in the pipeline, possibly to allay any investors that might be thinking of switching off of Ripple into something because they want to hop onto the DeFi train. Maybe this will keep some people from leaving Ripple and being like, okay, well, I'll see if I got any extra money to invest in a different DeFi startup, but I'll leave Ripple for now. So could be him doing that. It could be they're actually going to announce something here in the next couple months, which I think would be awesome if they did, but that remains to be seen. Alrighty, guys, that will actually do it for the day. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 articles. Thanks to all those who have subscribed. Believe me, it means the world to me. You've given me a bright spot to my day in these uncertain times. As always, all the articles talked about are down in the description, so please, please, please feel free to check them out, read, and let me know if you disagree with anything I said in the comments or if you agree. I'm perfectly fine with that. Just keep it constructive. Don't tell me I'm a big old dumb dummy and leave it like that. Like, how does that help? Anyways, top 10, everything's in the green. That's not a stable coin with the exception of Bitcoin SV, but not a lot of movement on either side of the spectrum. Ripple's up 2.5%, Chainlink's up 2.5%, and Binance Coin's up 2.25%. Everything else is either up or down by less than 1%, so pretty flat day for the market. Everyone's holding their breath right now. The economy, particularly here in the U.S., is only getting worse as coronavirus continues to ravage. Jobless claims are up. Unemployment benefits, some unemployment benefits are ending here soon if the government doesn't get things underway. So while our lovely crypto space is not directly tied to stocks and we are deflationary, not inflationary assets, I just want to warn everybody, we could see a nice drop towards the end of this month, particularly if the United States is unable to figure things out. At this point, I don't have a lot of faith, but, we'll see how it goes. So with that being said, I wish you all best of luck. Stay safe out there, and I will hopefully be talking to everyone tomorrow. Have a great night.